So, were there other paid features that you wanted to show us?
Well, to show how this works on a larger scale, because obviously a car showroom, you've got, a number of individuals going through it at any particular time. What about the big corporate manufacturer? So here's a hydrogen ecosystem gigafactory that was launched at the end of last year by Plug Power in New York State. And in the old days, you would actually invite the media and select VIP visitor guests to an event like that at great expense, and maybe limited to the number of people that you could afford to invite or physically have space to invite. So these guys said, no, let's use Matterport 3D within the Zuant 3D system as part of their launch webinar. And this really shows the power of the system in terms of handling a huge volume of activities in a very...
Excuse me, I'm looking at a still picture. I presume that's a Matterport tour and we could walk into the building. Yes,
indeed. So the CEO of Plug Power, also for confidential reasons of some new technology at play, and so he was particularly keen on making sure that this guided tour only focused on the areas that he wanted his customers to see. So there is a sequence that was created so that we go straight into the lobby. We have Matterport video presentations at each step. So here's a welcome to the plant and that introductory video. And then the navigation black box is used to take you from stage to stage through the plant with different video presentations by the managers in each of those areas. And you're restricted to one view, so you can certainly look around from the one scan point, but it takes you through the factory and jumps you from section to section. And there's another little point here that we can add. It's not a feature of this particular demonstration, but we've got the concept of hyper jumps available in the paid Zuant 3D system, so that for clients like Thermo Fisher, they have laboratories, as you can imagine, all around the world, and they like to hyper jump from one laboratory to another to demonstrate different technical instruments in the range. So that's another feature available within the whole navigation package. So to put this into context, to look at the sheer volumes involved here. So this was middle of October, I believe. And it's interesting to see that in addition to myself, from time to time, there are corporate visitors going into the site on a daily basis to look around. So that's extended the use of this particular promotion. And then if I change the date range to cover that period. So it's rerunning. And it's fascinating to see the spike of activity literally within an hour, 90 minutes. During that webinar, we had over 64,000 activities. By at that moment, it was approximately 1,600 unique visitors, all taking the tour And clearly they were heavily engaged, 66 activities per visitor, with a wealth of information about particular points that they visited. Some of the top visitors here will exclude Dave, of course, but outsiders have been in that space for nearly 5 hours, so goodness knows what they were looking at, which points were most popular, which areas did they depart from. So it's quite interesting to see how you can change a tour to keep people in a space longer, if that's what you want to do, to show them more items. So yes, when we're going into all of these different markets, it just shows that this could be scaled. So, for a large retail outlet, for instance, with hundreds of visitors on an hourly basis, then there's no reason why we couldn't use 3D to keep track of all those people and view what was most interesting through different parts of the week, different seasons, different presentations in store. So I think this is going to be fascinating to see how this is applied in new industries like retail.